This is Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 290. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello everybody, and how are you today? Well, I don't know about you, but it's cold outside today. And I'm going for a walk and I'm thinking I am really going to have to bundle up today. What's it like for you where you are? Is it starting to get chilly? Are you someplace where it's always warm? Well, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but the group program that I offer a few times a year, the last one is getting ready to close in a couple days. So I just want you to be aware that if you're on the fence, you've been thinking about it, or maybe you're thinking, what if I fail again? I know a lot of you think things like that about trying something new when you believe that everything that you've done up till now hasn't worked. I really want you to look at that a little bit because I spent 30 years doing a lot of what you probably are doing, which was trying different diets, different ways of eating. And in the end, it never really worked because I believed that I needed an outside source to tell me what to do. And of course, the outside source could never really know what I inside knew, which is why I came up with the Thinner Peace process, which is really about touching base inside of you, your own physical hunger, your own tiredness, your own pain, your own connection into your own physical body, and then really learning how to deal with the emotional part of your body, and also for many reasons of why you eat when you're not hungry. Because it always comes down to this: a diet or an external source sounds really good in the beginning, but in the end, you always want to do what you want to do. And if what you want to do is use food at some point in time to celebrate, make yourself feel better, make yourself feel something, that is really not the goal of food. And that is what this Thinner Peace process is all about, is helping you differentiate the difference. And why menopause? Why did I even choose you menopausal women? Because that's where I had my biggest awakenings. Because really, in a way, it was a blessing that when I went back to Weight Watchers for the 100th time to lose the same weight, the actual external source didn't work like it used to because, hey, my body was going through menopause. And of all the research I've done, one of the things that I've learned about our bodies and what happens when they go through menopause is that really over decades, over time, our appetites decrease over time. So if we're still eating or wanting to eat what we ate when we were 20 and still trying to do the same thing at 50, you're probably going to notice that you're not losing weight and you're probably going to notice that you're gaining weight. But if you can really get connected into that physical body of yours and really differentiate the physical hunger from the emotional hunger, because the problem with menopause is physical hunger goes down, emotional hunger. When I say emotional hunger, all I'm saying is just emotions in general. Negative emotions tend to go up and they're bigger holes to fill. And if you've been used to filling emotional hunger holes with food, you're going to want to do it more. So this group is open right now, and it's probably open. Registration is going to close on Thursday at midnight. And if you're on the fence, or if you think, am I worth the investment? Then what I have also done is I've included a interview today with one of my clients that finished my group program. Her name is Desiree. And I call her Desi because she says all her friends call her Desi, and I do consider her a friend now. But she finished a program with me, and she has so much to say about that. And I think it's worth you listening to if you're on the fence, because she's probably like you because she was, and then she did it. And hear what she has to say and hear about the benefits for her. Maybe you'll relate to it. But if you don't, I hope that she helps you in some way. Learn to be more connected to your body. Learn to understand your emotions better, with or without me and my Thinner Peace process. I hope she just helps you. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to sit back, take a walk, take a ride, whatever it is you do, and listen to my interview with Desi. And at the end of the interview, I'll get back on and say a few words. So enjoy. Hi, Desiree. Welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Dr. Deb. I'm so glad to be able to talk to you today.
I know. Well, the reason I wanted to have you on is because when you were in my group class, I just feel you went through so many obstacles and came up on top of them. And I just thought it would be wonderful for you to share some of your experience with our listeners, because I bet there's a lot of people just like you when you first started out. So I thought maybe you could just tell everybody a little bit about where you were before you started working with me, like what was going on for you and what brought you to my podcast.
Okay. I would be glad to do that.
Thank you.
I have been doing things with my daughter because we're both always kind of struggling with our weight, and we tried some different things, and we'd lose some and then we'd gain it back, then we'd start again, and then we joined Weight Watchers and we're losing weight, and then we gained it back, and we didn't even anyway.
I can relate.
I got to a point where it just seemed pointless to keep trying. I just kind of gave up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of went into a slump where I was just eating really bad because I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, what's the point? And I'm older now, so what's it matter? And not a good frame of mind to be in. But at the same time, I did not like how I felt. I didn't feel good. I felt tired and lethargic, and I didn't like myself. And so I thought, something's wrong here. I can't do this.
Uh-huh.
So I happened to be with my daughter, and she listens to different podcasts all the time. And she heard one about you. You were interviewed on this podcast, and so you gave out your information, and she wanted me to hear it. So I listened to it. And so I took down all your information, and it was really cool because I searched for you, and it all your podcasts downloaded to my phone, just boom. And I'm like, wow, this is really neat. So I started listening, and then you introduced that you're going to do a class, and I was getting very excited. And to go back a little bit, I had come to the doctor, and my blood work was horrible. I was obese. I was all these horrible things. And yet I didn't know how to make it better because I didn't care to change how I was eating, because I thought, it's pointless. I can't get it off anyway, so why care?
Wow.
Anyway, that's where I was at. But once she had put me on some medication to help kind of disconnect the food from the brain, which I don't like taking stuff like that, but I was kind of desperate. And it was helping a little, but still wasn't doing anything. But then I got introduced to your podcast, and I got very excited because I loved what you were teaching. And it's more of the mind than the weight loss. Weight loss is the side effect of what's going on in my head. And it clicked with me. Oh my gosh. I just knew that I felt like Heavenly Father blessed me with a direction, and it's been wonderful ever since.
Wow. It's all I have to say is wow. So first you started listening to my podcast, and then how long were you listening before you ended up in taking a class with me?
It was about a month and a half.
Okay. And what would you say, what was the change that you made? Like, what resonated with you so much about me before you took my class?
I just loved your teachings about first just the self-compassion and loving ourselves, and then paying attention to our bodies. I didn't listen to myself at all. I just stepped and I went on. But my body was screaming at me. I was having all kinds of pain. I was having lots of issues. And I realized that in your teaching that we need to listen to our body. And I love that you were a chiropractor and you were telling the people to come in when the pain was a whisper instead of screaming at them. That made so much sense. So I just kept listening, and I was wanting more from you. That's when your class came up, and I hesitated because I thought, oh, that's a lot of money. And I've already spent all this money on books and on classes and courses and trying to get this weight off. But then I realized, if this is ringing true and this is right, then this is the last time I'm doing this for myself. And I have never looked back. I have loved the class, and I encourage anyone, if you're struggling at all, do the class.
I love that.
We can work with you. You work with us. You are one-on-one. You give direction when we're struggling, because there's a couple times you called me and I was struggling, and just the simple questions you asked me helped me. It was amazing to me how I could overcome. And I truly understand the phrase now that the truth shall set you free. And when we truly know and understand and listen, you said, listen to what's inside because it's all there. Oh my gosh. I don't want to start crying, but it really is. And you helped me see that.
Desiree, one of the things that I think that stands out about you in the class is that, you know, I give homework, I give directions, I do coaching in the class, but really it's what you put in is what you get out of it. And I think for you that everything I asked of you, of all my students, you did everything. Am I right when I say that you did everything I told you to do?
Because I wanted to. If I had any doubts, I knew I had to put the work into it to see, okay, if this is going to do it. And it did it. That was the amazing part to me, is when I followed exactly what you said to do, it worked. It came off, and it worked.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just found that it's not just the weight loss. It's the way I feel about myself, the way that I feel happier. I feel more comfortable with me and who I am. And I think that is the biggest part, because once you accept who you are, which you help with that, oh my gosh, then everything else works.
Do you think that in the beginning, that part of the do you think that you had to kind of get to a point where you accepted yourself and then it actually made it easier for you to take care of yourself?
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That self-compassion. I read the books that you said. I've even done the workbook that comes with that book.
Of course you did.
Because it's self-compassion, and I had none. I had nothing for myself. And my problem was that it started because I had self-disgust and hatred for myself, that it was bleeding out onto others. And that's what I needed. Yeah.
Wow.
So in this program, your program, in just even that one part is self-compassion has made such a difference in my marriage, in my family, and in myself.
Wow. You know, I know your friends call you Desi, so I'm going to call you Desi from now on because
That is
you are,
great. I love it.
yeah, because you are Desi to me now. But what I remember a lot in the group, one of the things that I want to share with our listeners is that I spend time coaching individually within our group. So you got to see a lot of other people being coached, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
how was that for you to watch other people being coached? Like you weren't the only one being coached the whole time. There were a lot of other women that
Oh,
were being
yes.
coached.
It helped tremendously because I could relate with each person you coached. There were things that they talked about that was exactly what I would have said if it was my turn.
Mm-hmm.
I it just made me feel I wasn't alone, that
Ah.
we all are struggling with these things and
Mm-hmm.
we're all needing each other to help us through this stuff, because we find that that person's struggling with the exact same thing I am. Then if they can do it, I can do it too. We can get this done together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. I did not realize that other people struggle with the exact same things I struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised at that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good for all of us to understand, I think, and to learn that we're
Yeah.
not.
Right. And I think that a lot of our listeners, just who are listening right now, I think we always think we're the only ones.
Yeah, we do. We do. I thought I was.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're the only ones that are mean to ourselves. And we're the only ones that eat when we're not hungry. And yet it's really, it's like there are so many, we're also much more the same than we are different. And I think that when we're in a group like this, I think that was a lot easier to see, don't you?
Yes. Yes. It really, I mean, because when you were coaching others, I was
Mhm.
there taking notes like crazy, because I could write down what I was thinking, what I was hearing, what you were saying.
Mhm.
It just made it really easy for me to do that, because when I'm being coached, it's my focus is more on just talking to you, so I don't
Right.
take them. But I took a lot, and I read them over because I
Mhm.
took them so that I'd have that memory and that knowledge that I gleaned from that. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking with others and you coaching the others, I got a lot out of that. Because I could relate, and I knew that if they were struggling with it, I'm struggling with it, then there's a way, and you showed us the way.
I love it. And the one thing that I want to say again, and what you're saying, is that you went above and beyond and did the work, from taking copious notes to doing all of your homework to asking me questions. And I think that's what is so important, that if you're willing to go all in on yourself, which I think you were, Desi, you went all in on yourself,
Yeah.
and it was courageous to do that, right? Because there were some times, I even remember when I was coaching you, where we worked on processing some emotions about
Oh, goodness.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And it was hard for you, but you want to tell just a little bit about what it was like to just go through a strong emotion with me, and how much different you felt after that, because I think everybody's so afraid of their own emotions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They are scary, because
Mhm.
sometimes we think that, oh, I can't face it.
Mhm.
But when you were coaching me,
Mhm.
and I was saying how good I was being, but yet things weren't what I wanted them to be. And
Mhm.
you asked me about, what do you mean good? And that's what spurred it for me. I had no plan on crying. I don't like
Right.
to cry in front of anybody.
Yeah.
But that word, when you said that, oh my gosh, it opened up some emotion inside me to the point where I buried my face in my hands because I was sobbing because of the sadness that I felt. And you asked me to describe it. You asked me where it hurt, and I said in my heart and in my neck and shoulders. And you asked me what color, and you were talking me through all this. And I realized that, I was crying my eyes out, but then it started to feel better. And I was like, I felt lighter. I felt this sensation in my shoulders where it was releasing. I was amazed at the physical changes and the emotional changes that I felt in that moment in processing through that emotion. My mind was blown away, and I'm like, wow.
And that's exactly what happened. Your mind did get blown away.
It did. And the thing is it was easy, even though it was hard to sit there and cry in front of everybody and look horrible and feel horrible. And yet I got through it and I worked through it. And I was walking on air the rest of the day.
You went from feeling
from
terrible,
the bottom of the barrel to the sky, flying with the birds. Yeah. It was amazing, and it didn't hurt. It released the pain.
Yeah.
So that was mind-blowing to me. And I hope that the people that witnessed it could see the change in me too, because it was amazing to go from that dark despair to that light and that joy. It was amazing. And so now I know when I have something that's bothering me or issues, just like yesterday, I got up and I didn't really have anything to do. So I thought, usually I'll just turn the TV on and veg, but I'm like, no, why do I want to do that? So I did a model and I realized, okay, I was bored, and that's okay, but TV isn't going to fix it for me. And so it got me doing other things that I kept putting off because I was overwhelmed, and I'm like, oh, I can't handle that right now. Well, I took a moment with that and I got things accomplished that have been sitting there piling up forever. So it does work. And it's good to sit, like you said, with those feelings and work them through, because then they can go away. That energy is gone, and we don't stuff it. We don't need to eat it. We don't need to keep it all packed in there. We can be free of all of that.
I love that. And I'm just hoping everybody is hearing all the words that are coming out of your mouth, because, anybody that was in this group was a witness to it, as I was. Yes. But what I think for you is, even the difference in your food journals after that experience.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you were also talking about being stuck for a little bit, and a lot of people get there. And I think between the thought and feeling of feeling stuck and then going through this processing of emotion, I think that's when your food journals, where you just started eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, just fueling. And I think that you got yourself unstuck. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. So where you are. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The food journal tracks you. It tracks your thoughts and your feelings around your eating. And they're very important. I still do them because I want to see, okay, what's going on with me. It really helps me see myself. So yeah, they're great.
Right. And they're not like another food journal you've ever done before, right? Because just like you said, you're tracking thoughts and feelings almost more than you're tracking what you're eating.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really different. So, in the last couple minutes that we have together, what would you say to somebody after your experience? Because I know you've lost weight. It's like you've lost a burden. It's like, when I look at you now compared to the first day of group, you don't even look the same. And I'm not talking about it. It's something in your face that's just so different. What would you say to somebody who's considering the group right now, who probably is where you were, who probably has hesitation about spending money on themselves? What would you say?
I would say, sweetheart, do it for yourself. You will not be sorry. It will give you the tools, it will give you the knowledge that you need to move forward in a positive, productive direction. And you won't lose. You can't lose. It will give you what you need to go forward. If you're looking for any kind of answer in your life, do the class and you will find it, and you will gain it, not the weight. You'll gain the knowledge, you'll gain the heart for yourself, you'll gain what you need to move forward and feel happy and healthy and feel free from the food, free from the emotions around it, free to live life and be happy.
Wow. That's all I have to say is wow. So it's a little bit more than just losing weight, because you did lose a lot of weight too. But what you're saying is it's a whole lot more than that.
Oh, it is so much more. And that's what I tell my friends, because everyone's asking me, what have you done? How did you do it? And I tell them, go see Dr. Deb. Here's her information. Take her class, because that's where I gained it, the knowledge I needed, the satisfaction, the understanding, the love to take care of myself to get this weight off. And it's not losing the weight that's made me happy. It's what I've learned and what I've gained from you, the guidance you've given and the direction and the tools. That's what's made me happy. And that's what's given me what I need to take care of myself. And I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful for that, Dr. Deb. And I love you to pieces for that. And I'm so excited my daughter's taking your class.
I know. I saw that. I know. She's the one that told you about the podcast. And then you did it. And now it's a beautiful thing.
The changes in me. And now because I tried to talk to her about it at first. And she says, no, it's just too much. I'm not ready. But just seeing me and seeing how I'm doing it has spurred her in her desire to find out more. So I told her to do it, and she's doing it. So
I love it. Well, Desi, thank you so much for taking the time to be on my podcast. I've loved every minute of coaching you, and I am going to miss you. But thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Desi. Well, everybody, that was Desi. I know. She is such an inspiration. And some of her biggest aha moments in the group was about processing emotion. And I know she talked about that. It's like, how do you really feel an emotion when you want to eat it? And I know that sounds a little confusing right now, but that is part of my Thinner Peace process. And it is part of the coaching that I do, is to help you see it and process it. It's kind of hard to explain when I'm just talking to you on a podcast what that looks like. But you heard Desi, and you probably have heard many of my clients. Like, if you have not seen any of the videos with my clients and their transformations, I highly encourage you to go to my web page, drdebbutler.com/transformation, and watch some of the videos. Maybe it'll be inspirational to you too. And if it is, you can always go to drdebbutler.com/group, GROUP, and make an investment in yourself that will last a lifetime. But it does start with an investment in you. Do you know how to invest in you, or does it make you nervous? Just find out what that's all about. And then all I want to say to you is the water is warmer than you think. So maybe you just need to jump in. And of course, I would never end this podcast without saying to you, regardless if you sign up with me today, regardless if you listen to the transformations, you know the one thing that you can do right now, and that is be very, very, very kind to yourself. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.